Hi, and welcome to today's session on marketing your brands on digital platforms. I'm going to talk about three things about marketing and how they impact whatever you do from a digital perspective. So if you think about it, marketing hasn't changed per se, but the way in which marketing is done has changed, obviously. Right? What I mean by it is that digital provides a plethora of tools and options for us to market ourselves in ways which are much more deeper or much more detailed than was possible with traditional marketing. Think about traditional marketing for a moment, right? When you think of traditional marketing, the basic tenets of traditional marketing, and there are three, that doesn't change at all. So let me show you a small little post-it which I drew out here. Okay? If you see these three elements, you're trying to do three things always. You're trying to get the attention of people. You're trying to make sure that whatever message you have gets retained within their brains and their memories. And lastly, you want to ensure that when they want to take action, that is make a purchase or some kind of conversion, they click and choose your brand or your product versus any other product. Now these three things don't change. You want to get the attention of people. You want to make sure that after you've got the attention, your message stays in their mind. And lastly, you want to make sure that they take action and choose your product or service. Now, digital changes this and changes this in ways which are confusing at times. But before I get into the digital aspect of it, let me just cover one more thing, and here's one more post-it for that. If you think of most traditional marketing, it was a one-way street, right? So you had messages, whether it was displayed in terms of a hoarding or a print ad and what have you, right? This was typically a one-way street. Digital changed the game completely. It made this one-way street a two-way, actually not a two-way communication it enabled, and it also enabled many-to-many communications. So you would need to leverage and create communications where your audience can interact with you back again. And your audience had the ability to take your message and share it with others digitally and spread it across the globe. So you switched from a typical one-way communication. I'm not saying traditional didn't allow a two-way communication. But what I'm saying is digitally enhance that. Digitally, you have the ability now to take that communication, and it's more than a communication, it's now a conversation which allows the person who's receiving the communication to add on to that conversation and take it forward with their friends, with their family, at a pace which was unbelievable, right? So if I got a message from you, the organization, today, like this FB Live which you're watching right now, you could comment, like, and share this particular, WeSchool FB Live which is happening right now. You could share it on your timeline on Facebook with your friends. People who see this, that is your friends who see this, could instantly and immediately share it with their friends and with their family and so on, right? So what happens is that you, the consumer of the content, have the ability to take that piece of content, amplify it, that is share it with others, and at the same time take that piece of content and add to the conversation, right? So digital confuses this, or people get confused by digital, because where you earlier had just a hoarding, now you've got a social media message, you've got a banner advertisement, you've got a bunch of things out there. And it kind of becomes confusing. But the three parts of it, right? Getting the attention of the client, secondly, retaining that attention, and third, causing him to take some action, that doesn't change at all, right? So if you think of this cycle, or these three parts of a communication don't change at all, right? Getting the attention, retaining that attention, and enabling the customer or the consumer to take some action. That doesn't change at all. Now, when you think of a brand campaign today, right? As I said, it's become a many-to-many medium. Digital enables that many-to-many conversation in that sense. Where you have traditional word-of-mouth marketing, right? You'd see an ad on television or you see a print ad and then you share that message with somebody or the other. Digital allows you to share that conversation, whether it's via Twitter, whether it's via Facebook, or whether it's on YouTube, and take that conversation further. So it allows the consumer to co-create that content, and content now is the new advertising, right? So, and you've got a variety of content. I could be seeing this Facebook Live. Let's say you, the viewer, you're viewing this Facebook Live. You could maybe possibly make a few notes about it and share it, let's say, on SlideShare. Yeah, turn it into a presentation. You could take it and, like these simple drawings which I've made, convert it into some kind of an infographic, right? You could take the same message and then turn it into a blog article. So getting the attention of the customer involves today, whether it's doing traditional kind of advertising like a Google ad, which you do on the Google ad network, or Facebook ads. That's one way. Or then it is creating a social post and enabling people to literally converse with you. Like, for instance, you could converse with me right now on the WeSchool page by adding a question which you have about exactly what I've spoken about right now, right? So it enables that two-way communication right at the moment when you come in contact with that piece of advertisement or that piece of communication or piece of content which is out there. And that too instantly. Now, most consumers or most viewers of this video would possibly be viewing it, let's say, on their desktop or their laptops, and quite a large segment of that would be viewing it on mobile devices as well. So you have the ability for instantaneous communications in the context of the communication media itself. So right now we're using Facebook Live, or I'm speaking to you via Facebook Live, which, by the way, is being broadcast over a mobile phone. And you could, watching this on your mobile phone, drop a question and put it, which comes up on my Facebook page. Now here's the beauty of it. Your question, which comes up on the Facebook page, I could answer in real time, and that conversation of ours is now viewable by the rest of the world who's viewing this presentation itself. So communication, interaction has increased in terms of the levels of communication and the number of communications which are possible, and additionally the speed at which that communication happens, right? So I'm doing this Facebook Live, I've got your attention, I'm saying, hey, WeSchool teaches subjects like this as well. So you've got a sampler of what kind of content we do at WeSchool. At the same time, you have the ability to interact with me in real time and then communicate. But there's one part, we covered two parts, right? We covered attention, getting the attention of the customer or the consumer, which is what I'm doing, and with the media, which is Facebook Live right now. I'm ensuring retention by allowing you to engage with me in this conversation. The last part, which needs to be enabled in this three-step process, if I might, or the three pillars of marketing, is that I need to enable you to take action. I need to provide you, the consumer or the viewer, with a way to take action. And for that, obviously, I need to have certain drivers. Now, those drivers don't change. It could be a sense of achievement, that, hey, I'm learning something new. It could be in the form of exclusivity. It could be in terms of, getting rid of a certain problem or a worry which one has. So those essential motivational drivers or emotional gratification which one gets from consuming a particular product, or taking, or buying a specific kind of product, is what doesn't change, right? So your product has to fulfill its promise of ensuring that the customer gets some reward or avoids some kind of a pain. That doesn't go away at all. And digital enhances this capability across the board by allowing you multiple ways of interacting with customers across the board. So if you see, this is how digital or marketing your brands on digital platforms has evolved, right? Or marketing has evolved on digital platforms by providing you many more different ways in which you interact with the customer. Now here's one additional thing which digital brings into play, which traditional marketing had a challenge in executing. Now for instance, let us say you go and comment on this live video which is out here, right? I, the producer of this content, or WeSchool, the producer of this content, gets to see who is the person asking this question, right? I get to know details about who you are, what your interests are, what your likes are, and I get to understand the consumer or the person who is purchasing or interested in purchasing my product or service. Now, this is an angle which digital greatly enhances. Digital provides us data on each and every level. It allows me to see who are the customers who are consuming my content, who are the customers who are interacting with my brand, or who are interested in the product which my brand is promising, or which it is, or the problem which my brand is solving for you. And it allows me to in real time know the various data points about the people who are interacting with me. So digital provides a level of transparency via its very nature, right? Its very nature of being digital allows me to see every aspect and source of how my consumer or my customer interacts with me. That's one of the most powerful features of digital. Yeah, it provides me with literally a footprint, or helps me map out the DNA of that customer who's interacting with me, and that's the value addition which digital brings to the fore, which was in traditional marketing extremely difficult to gather, right? So you would do a focus group, or you would do some market research and so on and so forth. This would be either before or after, but digital allows you to capture this data about your consumer in real time. That strength which digital brings is something which just changes the game. And that's why you see, I mean, we've been seeing, I work at an agency where we provide such solutions, and we've been seeing that customers' adoption of digital, or budgets which are allocated from marketing towards digital, have just more than doubled almost every year. Because it's this aspect where digital allows you to measure the impact of whatever activity you're doing and how it is being done, to help you determine the ROI of whatever activity which you're undertaking. So that's kind of what digital brings to the table, and I hope I've been able to explain kind of the very basic tenets of marketing and how digital enhances it. There are obviously many more nuances to it, right? So if you look at a medium like Facebook, and how can I leverage that? One of the things which we're doing right now is actually leveraging Facebook to reach out to people. So for instance, I can tell you, as we're sitting right now, I've got a desktop which is right besides me, and I can tell you we've got 124 different people who are viewing this Facebook Live right now. Now this is unheard of, right? When you're seeing a hoarding on the street, you can't tell me how many people have actually seen or read that particular advertisement which is out there. Or if I take a newspaper, I can't tell you how many people have actually read it. I can tell you the circulation of that newspaper, but I can't tell you how many people have actually gone ahead and read that piece of content here. There's another aspect. I could see this and I could tell you how many people have liked this video, how many people have had a question, what that question is, and how many people looking at this content have now gone to my website to find out more about, let's say, Welingkar's hybrid course, right? So digital provides that level of transparency, and each medium which one uses, so whether it's a social network, whether it's a community platform, whether it's a photo sharing website, and you've got a bunch of different platforms, right, which you can leverage in your digital marketing. Each of them enables you to get to know almost in real time, in context of the kind of communication which you're sending with your audience, what is it that they're really interested in, and how effective is your messaging. So that's what digital brings to you. And let me just take a few quick questions. Okay, I'm just going to read up on screen what's out there, and I'm going to tell you so I'm going to read out a question which someone has posted out here. Can you share some examples of brand platforms that you have liked personally? So let me define the question, right? So the question is, can you define some example of brand platforms? There are two kinds of brand platforms itself. One is brand platforms which leverage other platforms. So for example, WeSchool in this very case, right, has built two platforms. One, it's built a website where it has, if you go to WeSchool's website, right, you'll see a whole lot of content on the website which addresses the need of people who are looking at, becoming the next managers, for instance, or who want to enhance their careers. That's one platform which they leverage. So they've built a digital platform for themselves, which is in traditional terms was called a website, where they've built a whole lot of content, whether it's in terms of blogs, whether it's in terms of video content and so on. Then there is another kind of platform, so that's an owned platform which they have, their website, their own personal space in the digital space. And the second is where they're leveraging other social platforms. So for example, you'll find that WeSchool, as an example, is there on Facebook. It uses this particular medium itself to interact with the audience and enable them to get a glimpse. Like for instance, I've been speaking for about 15 minutes right now, right? I get a glimpse, I give you a glimpse of the kind of content which is produced out here in WeSchool. And that allows you to kind of gauge, hey, what is the value of the school? What am I going to get when people come to the school, right? The other is that when they're using, like for instance, they're using Facebook or they're using YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll find a whole host of content which they have in terms of workshops and so on and so forth, which they're using to help you learn more about themselves. So I think WeSchool is a great example of an organization which is using a variety of brand platforms. One, the own platform, which is the Welingkar Institute website itself, and then Facebook, a social network like Facebook, or a video sharing content platform like YouTube, where they're kind of explaining the various or they're sharing content which is out there in terms of the video content which they have, which is generated maybe by talks like this, like where I'm giving you a talk right now, or it contains talks of educational content which they have, which is about their course material itself, right? So they've got a bunch of different things out there, so they're leveraging these various kinds of platforms and connecting with their audience. I'm not sure we have time for any more questions. And I'm going to now end the session and hand it over to Venkatesh, who will just address you a bit more about WeSchool. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sanjay, for your insights. It was really indeed very helpful. Well, friends, if you wish to know more about the WeSchool hybrid program, and if you have any queries pertaining to the admissions, please do call us on 022-4051-4051. That's the admission helpline number. I repeat, that's 022-4051-4051. Have a great learning experience with WeSchool.